final press conference of the 2025 season with General Manager Issa Tall and Head Coach Wilfried. Let's start with questions from Brianna McKay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I know you've been asked about the reports coming from Scotland. I know you've...
The what?
The reports coming from other teams. I know you've been asked it. I know you said you won't comment on it. I don't know if there's anything you can add about it, but something I do want to ask you is how likely do you see yourself being here in Columbus next season?
Regarding, I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to talk about the team, first of all, and I have nothing to say regarding any kind of rumors.
Thank you. I then both want to ask you, when you look back on the season, are you walking away with any regrets, anything you wish you could have changed that was in your control?
No, obviously, it's still tough to talk to you right now. We're not even a week away from our last game, and as we all know in sports, we all have a short memory, and you think of the very last game, so it's still frustrating and frustrating that we didn't get the result we wanted. But then you have to reflect on the full season and see what we've done, and there are a lot of positive that you can take away from it. So again, we are still in reflection mode per se. Of course, we all, myself included, my staff, Wilfried, and the coaches and the players, trying to think back of what we could have done and if this, if that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Looking back, we can be proud of our season, but also obviously wanted to achieve more.
Yeah, listen, we did. We just finished with my staff the recap of the full season compared to the last 3 seasons. And we've been good. We've been good, really, really good. Better than the 2024. Except that we were not good enough in the 2 boxes. So this is the main issue that we had. We, in terms of production, defensively it's the same. But we didn't make a play when it was the good moment to make it. But in terms of performance, this is similar. In terms of how can I say that? In terms of numbers, I mean. And after that, offensively, we were really good, better than 2024. But all the chances that we had, we didn't score. So this is the main difference.
There's also obviously the injuries that you guys had to deal with this season. I don't know how much you've been able to look into it, but what do you feel like it was just bad luck with those injuries, or do you think there might have been wear and tear that could have led to these injuries more often than last season?
Injury for me, I'm gonna dribble Issa. After that, he will have the ball. It's part of football, and I cannot complain with injuries since I started. I'm gonna talk about myself. I don't talk about the past with previous coaches and so on. We've been really, really good on that in terms of availabilities. During all the years that I started to coach, it was more than 85, 93, 85%. So this year, there is years like this where we try to find a trend, why we had setbacks from few players. But the injury of Mo, the injury of Rudy, the injury of Tar, this is part of football. Lamine Yamal has the same. This is a famous player, that's why I name him. But he could be also another player that I can name. This is part of football. So after that, we try to see if there is a correlation between the 3. There is no correlation. Rudy is 30-something years old. Tara is young. And Mo is in between. So they could have done something better, yes. But at the end of the day, this is part of football. After that, regarding Diego, we knew before we took him that he had injury like this. So he played a lot. I didn't rotate him a lot because this year I decided to do it. But he was feeling good, and after that he has this kind of issues also. That's why towards the end of the year it was a bit difficult for him to repeat certain things. But again, this is part of football. Obviously, I am really demanding with myself and also with my staff to try to find solutions. But to be honest, difficult to anticipate these kind of things. Obviously, when we talk about West Ham, yes, we can talk about luck. I'm not a big fan of luck, but I believe that we can provoke luck when we are proactive, when we do things in a good way. But at the same time, West Ham did good things in a good way, and he was unlucky. But the way he injured himself, this is West Ham. So yes, he was crying when he got the injury, but it's him. The fight that he had, he could have stopped, but no, this is the way he is as a person, and this is why Issa proposed me this player, and I said yes, because he is like that. So obviously we were missing a few players, and that's why the only regret, I don't live with the regret, but the only regret that I can have is we had really, really good in terms of concept, in terms of the way of playing, in terms of performance. It was the best that we had since Samir. But now, in terms of numbers, was not good enough. I'm going to give you an example. Wing back to wing back, the production of the wing back, this is something that is really important for us. And they did score, and they did a good season. Could have been better for other things, but they did really, really well. But we were missing also this kind of production also up front. Not because they didn't want to do it, it's because with the lack of execution at certain moments. So that's why for me, it was a weird season. I can give you another fun fact. We never did that since I started, but we had a 3 clean sheet 3 times, and we never did that. Not clean sheet, sorry. Three shot. We didn't concede shots on target 3 times, and we never did that. So that's why I call it a weird season, because it's been really, really good on certain things, really, really, really good, but disappointing, like Issa said, because I'm pretty sure that we could have been higher, and we could have done better, but we're not good in making plays.
And just one last thing I want to ask you, Wilfried. Obviously, Sean suffers an injury during Game 3. He's not able to go to the U.S. national team camp. Just what are your feelings about what he's had to go through this season regarding those injuries and just lost opportunities outside of his control?
Yeah, first of all, I'm sad for him because he was crying at the end, because obviously we lost, but also this is the second time or third time that he's supposed to go with the national team and he doesn't go. Again, Sean, this is a good example also that the work ethic is phenomenal. He's really good on that, but he's been hurt by this kind of injury. Hopefully next year is going to be better for him, but this year, it was difficult to accept that because, as you know, Sean is important for us. But this is part of the job of a footballer.
Wilfried, you mentioned the wing back to wing back. I know in the way that you guys play, that can be a big tactical weapon. Did it need to be this year because of not having as much firepower, so to speak, up front? That part had to develop more than it
No, not only that. But this is a good question. But not only that. First year, we faced team that they knew the way we wanted to play, but we unbalanced them through the middle. End of the first year, what happened is they started to play really low. So we had to work on how to unbalance a low block. The second year, we had to sort it out also mixed, sometimes man-to-man, sometimes low block. So we needed to adjust to unbalance them through the middle or out wide. And the third year was to talk about more concept, more fluidity, more, I call it running together. And we faced many teams that they were blocking the middle. So when we were analyzing game, so the way they were playing against a team, they were not playing the same against us. So we had to work a lot on the side, how to create unbalance, how we can unbalance the opposition on the weak side or on the strong side, but on the side. So that's why automatically these kind of things happen. And after that, obviously because we didn't make all the play that we were supposed to do, so we attacked a little bit more on the side. But it's a consequence also of the opposition. And after that, if we would have scored more, maybe it could have been different. But I think that also the opposition were blocking the middle a lot against us.
You said this is your first full year in this role. What did you learn that maybe at the beginning of the season you didn't know, just having, I know you've been involved in a lot of things, but just having not been this role for a full year?
It happened, so I knew what the role was. Being obviously so close to Tim, I knew what the role was, but I maybe didn't appreciate fully that it entails a lot. Obviously, you think the general manager is just in charge of bringing players in, but that's not only it. You know, I truly enjoyed it. I really feel blessed to be in this position. I actually want to take this opportunity to thank the staff that you have in this building, because they put their heart and soul into this club. So it's just more than the 11 players on the field. We have 100 players coming through our doors every day, and we have 60 plus staff, if not more, that take care of all these players and this club at the end of the day. So now I'm in it. So that was my full year. But again, I don't want to see it as my full year. As I was thinking about this the other day. Next year will be my 8th season at this club. So I can tell you that this club means a lot to me. Obviously now I'm in charge per se. I don't like this word really, because I do feel it's a really team effort. It's not just me, or for that matter, just him doing everything. The staff that we have with us are the best we can wish for. So I'm looking forward to the future and continue to get the club at new heights.
One of the topics I get often, and maybe you can both touch on this, is with Gaston and bringing him in when he was available. We talked about that at the time, but then obviously how the season went statistically and not playing as much in the playoffs. Just what can you guys share about that experience and sort of how it all played out? Maybe not reaching quite the heights that people expected when he came in, fair or unfairly, and then kind of how the season ended.
First and foremost, again, going back to when we got Daniel, we were all excited internally and externally, and for the right reason. Daniel came in with a tremendous attitude, something we didn't know about, but as a person, he's unbelievable, to be honest with you. So the first person I feel for the lack of statistics and goals, it's him. Because at the end of the day, if there's one person that's heard about not performing at the expected level, it was him. But kudos to him for continuing and coming with the right attitude every day at training. Now, that being said, he was still available for selection, and he played at different positions. We try to support him, and again, it goes to show you it's not easy to move to any other club, and specifically here where our system is so unique that it takes time. So we should see what the future holds for him and for us, in sense of you need to adapt and learn, and it's a learning curve. Like I said, the guys that were here since 2023, including myself, we got to get the 101 course of the way we play with the very, very basics. And you have now players coming in year 3 when it's 501, where it's very advanced, and it's not easy. So look, again, great person, very good player, and let's give him time.
Issa, I spoke with Coach a couple of weeks ago about this. You took the second best team in the league, and you put them up against the wall at home, an outstanding performance in the playoffs. And you did it with 10 of the 11 guys who were on the roster back in February when the both of you sat here and said, I know we've just lost a couple players, but this is a really good roster. Stick with us. You started half as many DPs, you started half as many U22 signings in that second game against Cincinnati. And in the end, it was a really tremendous 3-game performance from the crew. Is there some sense that, hey, you two guys were on target with what your expectations were? Some sense of pride over that?
No, because it'd be arrogant for me to say, "Oh, look, I told you so." You know.
Right. Neither one of you I know would say.
Yeah,
that.
it's not us. At the end of the day, for me, I would put it back on the players. They deserve it. It's them. We believed in them from day one, and I think he mentioned something about fluidity, and it reminded me of a few games we had in preseason where we saw something, and we gave them the trust, and they didn't disappoint. They had one of the best, if not the best, start in club history, and then obviously then it was a season of ups and downs, but then when they turned it back on, I would say in the game at Orlando, and then New York Red Bull. Okay, we are back. We are the crew. The crew is back. So I can only be proud of them, and I'm also because of the work I've seen that they've put since preseason, every day at training. It's demanding. It's challenging. It's a long season. So it's a big kudos to them. And then again, with the if you know, in French you say avec des si on mettrait Paris en bouteille. With ifs,
Translate.
yeah, I'll try. With ifs, you would put Paris in a bottle, and I think in English it's something with horses and beggars, and I think.
Okay.
But just to say, yeah, if West Ham was healthy and Mo and Rudy and all those guys, you don't know. But at the end of the day, I want to think of the guys that took on the field, that gave us again chills and memories, especially the game at home, and even I would say the entire playoff and many other games in the season that we shouldn't forget. So I'm, proud of what they've achieved, and they are as disappointed as anyone that we didn't go further. And I know they'll come back next year with same or even higher ambitions.
This is the first year for anyone to see Wilfried Nancy's third year in the game model that I'm sure he presented to Tim Bezpachenko back when Wilfried was hired. First of all, a question for both of you, but for Issa first. What was your impression, and what sort of anticipation do you have for year 4?
For year 4, it's like a mutation. Can I say this? That maybe he'll correct me, but I don't think he knew that year 3 was going to be this way when he first took over. We have to adapt based on how the game in general goes, how our players play, how they understand the game, how the opposition adapt to ourselves. So I think year 4 would be the same, where we need to tweak things in the way we play, in the profile of players we need, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Coach, were you inspired by what year 3, from a teaching standpoint, brought to you?
Yes, it's been amazing for me. Because again, I have the luxury to be in the front seat, and also to try to find solution all the time. And when, as you know, as a human being, when you find solution, you become better. And I believe that I am better than the year 2, because I know more things, and I did try also more things. And this is good. So again, this is, like I call it, it's an infinite game. It doesn't stop. There is new trend. You can see that this year, many teams that now try to play the man-to-man, all over the pitch. And after that, when this is a low block, they are less man-to-man, but they are really aggressive. So teams try to play a little bit more. Cincinnati example, they decided to play a little bit more, to have more possession, because I'm not inventing football, but if you want to compete and to be consistent, it's important also to find ways to rest. So, but again, Philly is a good example also that it could be the opposite. but in a consistent way. This is something that I believe on. So it doesn't stop. The game doesn't stop. So again, and me, I like to be to learn and to try to be ahead, not regarding the other people, but to be ahead of what I was yesterday. So for me, this is a learning process, and try to add certain things, and this is the idea.
And to be a head coach, you have a roster that, I don't know what decisions you guys are making, but you have a roster that looks pretty, I'm going to use the word stagnant, but that's not a negative. It looks like you're going to carry the bulk of it over to 2026. That will make your job even more interesting, won't it?
Issa will answer, but when we met the first time with Issa and Bez, the idea is to always try to improve the team. So it won't change. Next year, the idea is to improve the team. In the middle of the year, the idea is to improve the team. So, and players, I know that. And that's why this is difficult for them also, because in terms of emotion, this is not easy. So we have to bring competition. And Issa was working on that already. He doesn't stop. This is his job with his staff, and it doesn't change. So the idea is to bring competition, is to bring quality players, and to be able to help us to achieve what we want to achieve.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I just echo what you just said.
But there is some value in knowing that you can take a core of what you've been working with for 3 years and bring it forward. Is that correct?
Yes. After that, I don't know if it's good to keep a core for so long too.
Really?
It could be good.
Yeah.
But also they know us, the way we work. So again, the advantage is as a person, this is not because we had a good season last year, 2 years ago, and this year that I'm going to stay the same. No, I'm going to change things because I need to change things. I need to adapt regarding not regarding the trend, but regarding what I have. So, but at the same time, it's good also to have a kind of core of players. But at the same time, it's good also to bring new players because sometimes we need to shake the boat.
Yeah. You both have talked about the rationale behind a shorter roster, in large part because the bulk of the numbers fall from what you've seen to about players 14 or 15 on the roster. It never really goes to 28 or 30. I took a look at the numbers. The bulk of your roster, 14 players playing thousands of minutes, and then it really distinctly breaks off. And when it breaks off, there are 7 players, and of those 7, 5 of them had some really strong contributing moments in the season for you. Did that play out the way you expected it would?
Yeah, because year after year it always does.
Yeah.
And actually, if you look at the teams that use 20 plus, we call it the useful squad, those teams tend to not make the playoff. And it's due to many reasons. It can be due to injuries or a change of, coach who then changed the players. So there are many reasons behind that. I would say that the difference maybe this year is we had to deal with a lot of adversity with those injuries.
Yeah.
So when you have Rudy missing the entire season and Mo missing half of the season, without forgetting that Malde missed 8 games and Sean 6 and so on and so forth, at times I think we missed the competition within our group. That at the end of the day you are still going to land on 15, 16 players. But those 15 and 16 players would be more challenged if everybody's available to win the spot. And fortunately, this season, it wasn't always the case. And we look forward next year to have everybody healthy, to compete every day for a spot on the weekend.
Great, thank you.
Wilfried, I asked you this after the match on Sunday or Saturday, but feel free to comment if you'd like. Issa, what is the legacy that Darlington Nagby leaves behind? How would you describe it?
You mentioned his name, and I just had the shivers. His legacy, and I think it's something I told him too, that he doesn't realize what he's leaving behind at the club. It's just the way Darlington, we all know how Darlington played, and the whole world knew, and we know the statistic of he's the best ball retainer in the world. But that aside, it's the professional he's been, and the person he is his legacy. And what speaks volume about this is when you see a kid, a U15 at our club, idolizing Darlington. That kid will not tell you about a player who plays for a team in the Premier League or Barca or Real Madrid. It's like, who's your favorite player? And they will say Darlington Nagby. And the why is because they see how he carries himself, how he prepares himself, and then ultimately how he trains and competes. So his legacy is massive, is huge. And for the near future, we're fortunate to have players on our first team, our core, that have shared years with him and that learned from him just being around him. So that's what he's leaving, and hopefully he'll be around to continue building his legacy.
I was gonna say, do you foresee him having a role in the club?
Yeah, eventually. I mean, it would. That's the role that I wanted him to be at our club is a player. But look, I respected his decision the first day he told me, and it wouldn't make sense not to try to find a spot for him somewhere, respecting what he wants to do. So at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense for him to coach a team full time because he'll be away again on weekends and will be away from his family. So hopefully we can find something with him that will fit him and fit us, because he has a lot to give.
Thank you.
Anything else from the group?
Yeah, I don't know if this is too early to ask, but sort of coming off of Chris's question, where do you sort of prioritize, focus this offseason in terms of the squad? What do you think it looks like in terms of what you're trying to add as you head in the offseason? I know there's a lot to that question, but just can you give us some idea of what?
Yeah, so maybe I'm being redundant, but it's not something that we unfortunately lost on the weekend, and on Monday, hey, Wilfried, let's talk about next year. It's something we've talked for. We meet regularly, and we often talk about, hey, how about next year? Because otherwise, you're way too late. So it's a work that we've started for a month now, with ideas on the player that we would retain and the one that would move on, and essentially the holes that we have to fill, and something we've discussed for a month. Then obviously, things are not set in stone. There are some tweaks here and there in our decisions, but we have a clear idea of what we need, and we've discussed already players, but even while we're in season. So the thing is, you need to anticipate everything. Despite you could have, I'll give you an example. You could have 6 goalkeepers on your roster, but what if one goes and 2 gets injured and yada yada? So you need to be ready, and that's what we're ready for. But obviously, you have some key positions that we need to fill. We talked about Darlington.
Yeah.
He's irreplaceable. Let's put it. It's a fact. He's irreplaceable. However, he's leaving a gap in the middle where we need to try to find some players that are complementary to the current players we have.
And then there was a report yesterday about MLS owners voting on the shifting calendar. Obviously, there's some advantages for you guys in terms of player acquisition. We sort of talked about that with the timing of stuff. But just your overall thought on that potential shift that obviously changes things when you're trying to get people to the game in February in Columbus. How do you view, if that does happen, how do you view that potential?
Yeah, I saw that report, and I don't think there's been voted yet.
Sure.
But if that were to change, I think it'd be a good thing for our league, and something that we as a club, but also us as an entire league, should be excited about. There's a reason why the Japanese league is also doing this shift towards that calendar. To answer your question, yes, I think it would help to align our primary window with everybody else's primary window. And same thing with the secondary window for so many reasons. In acquiring players, when it's a time when everybody acquired players, and also able to retain players when we're in the middle of our season and it's the primary window for others. And then in terms of games, I don't think, based on what I know, it'd be necessarily a big difference between what we currently have and what it will be. I think, I'm not sure, but if that, it'd be a very few games added in February and maybe December. So we played here in December, and that was fine. And hopefully it will continue to be fine, but I think it's something we should all be excited about. And then hopefully have a playoff without interruption. And I'm looking forward to seeing our club lifting a trophy in May or June or whenever the final will be.
No, for me, it's going to be crucial. Simple as that. If they don't do it, there is no logical thought behind the fact that the desire of MLS to become a really good league. Simple as that. If you don't make the change, you can talk and talk and talk. This is impossible that people overseas are going to take us seriously. Simple as that. So I hope that they're going to do it as soon as possible, because I think that this is important, because many people can see now the level of the MLS regarding the everything, the stadium, the journalists, the players and so on. And also I hope that they're going to change also the format. Because again, this is not because I lost, but people knows me. They know that I'm not a guy that I'm going to talk for just for the sake of talking. But I hope that they're going to change also the format of the playoff, because for me this is not good. This is not good for two reasons. The first one, I'm going to give you the example of LAFC example. They qualified on 2 games, so they won 2 games. So for 20 days they will not play. And during the FIFA break, they're gonna have few players. They have to go with the national team, and they will come back 3 days before the game. This is the biggest game to play, because the structure of MLS is not based on the Supporter Shield.
Right.
It's based on MLS Cup. Doesn't mean anything. And I'm going to give you the example of our team. Well done, Cincinnati. No problem with that. But if you do a bit of mathematics, how many goals that we score?
More than Cincinnati.
Yeah, on the 3 games, how many goals that we score?
Yeah, on aggregate, yeah.
6 goals,
5 goals.
5 goals.
5 goals.
And how many goals that they scored?
2.
Okay, so we won, pardon, sorry?
3 goals.
So we won 5-3, and we are out.
Yes.
So second game, I'm going to give you an example. Pat didn't do it early, but he did it after. So we were winning, 3-0, something like that. Why coaches are going to stay with our best player on the team? We know that we lost. So just make the change. Just make the change. So after that, if we go further, because we are like the players, when we do an exercise, sometimes the players, they like to find ways to twist, the rules. Mm-hmm. So we were finding the way to get a red card to the best players of the opposite team, because they have nothing to lose, because they are lost already. So can we find a way to get a red card to Brunner, to all the players? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, this is not coherent. I understand me well. I love United States. I love the culture here. But we don't play hockey. We don't play American football. We don't play basketball. You know why? Because we don't have time out. It's 2 halves of 45 minutes. This is not the same game. And we don't play with our hands. We play with our feet. So they have to change this. And again, we won in 2023. No problem with that. But this is not about is going beyond the fact that win or lose. It's about, again, so difficult to do that. So difficult to do that, but at the same time, yes, we want more goals. I watched the San Diego against Portland. I stopped at the 15 minutes, or 20 minutes at the end of the game because there is no game anymore. Yeah. So how we can create, this kind of competition to raise a little bit more the level. So again, it's me talking. I am nobody, but I think that I can have a voice with that regarding, what we can do on the pitch. So that's why I hope that in the future it's going to change the schedule for sure, because we need that to get players. Why we didn't get players before? They did their job. It's because of the schedule. Because we were the bottom. So you know what? Yeah, Columbus, they want this player. Okay, but players in Russia, I have nothing against Russia, right, but the level is not better than us. But yeah, we're going to wait if there is an opportunity for those clubs over there to see if one player can go over there. The market is closed. You know what? Issa, now I'm open. So can we do the move? Yeah, but this is not the same price. So again, there is many things that you don't know, that day to day, this is horrendous for him to work. And that's why for the future of MLS, because I really believe that the future is here in terms of players, in terms of also competition within all the leagues in the world. We have to make the move.
I always appreciate that candor. On a similar note, coaches always talk about wanting to play more games. Unfortunately, CONCACAF Champions Cup out of the picture for next year. Does that give you the opportunity to consider the first team partaking in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup?
It's a question that we were asked. When was this? Last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
And
I hope I didn't ask it.
no, not even. It was I can't remember if it was from media or from the league but they were asking us. Oh, it was Bez. I remember. There was. It's funny. I'll tell it. It was Tim, myself, Wilfried, and Mark.
Okay.
And Tim, fairly enough, and he is right. He said, "Hey, we're playing CONCACAF Champions Cup. We're playing Leagues Cup. We're playing the league. Do you think we should play US Open Cup for the first team?" And the answer should be no. It's way too many games. But because Wilfried and myself come from France, where the French Cup is important, and Mark comes from England, where the Cup is also important, our response was yes. We just want to play in every competition and try to win every competition. We understand maybe it's stupid from our part because it adds games and strain on everything, but you want to play it. And so regardless of the Champions Cup or not, okay, it's a competition that as a club we want to play, if possible. I know it's difficult, but if we're in it next year, we'll be looking forward to playing in it.
When does that decision have to be made?
I do not know.
Okay.
Brandon, do you have one more?
Yeah, Wilfried, kind
Oh,
of.
you said no more question.
You don't want one more?
No, I'm joking. You can go.
On the topic of the atmosphere in MLS, you've been here, a head coach here for 5 years, and you said a supporter shield is a top priority for you to win with the club. Is that
For me?
Or for the whole club, winning a supporter shield is one of the goals, I should say. Is that still being in MLS and being in this atmosphere a top goal for this club and you to win a supporter shield?
I'm talking about myself. For me, Supporter Shield is more important than MLS Cup because I come from Europe. Because Supporter Shield is the consistency of the season. And MLS Cup is just 6, 7, or 8 games, something like that, depending what you're going to do to reach the trophy. but this is the culture here. So I'm really proud that we won MLS Cup because this is the objective. But Super Tour Shield, for me, this is the consistency because, yeah, I come from there. From there. So, but again, I respect the fact that here in America this is different, and I have no problem with that. But yeah, the Philadelphia, well done. Yes, I really believe that we were able to compete against them, and we could have done really, really good also. But at the end of the day, I have nothing to say. I shut my mouth because they did well, and they play in a different style of play as us. But they've been consistent, even though we can talk about overperforming at certain moments. But at the end of the day, I have to stay polite. Well done. And this, for me, well done.
All right, thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Issa, thank you very much.
Wilfried, you go to